Welcome back to Frostpunk, the last autumn. It is the morning of day 9. We are currently working on getting enough structural profiles so that we can... oh, we don't need safety procedures there. It's unhealthy, but low risk of getting ill. We want this to be at least one level higher. We need 6 structural profiles, and we also need the technology for that, so we can increase the work safety. Foragers have reached the lake full of fish. The lake is teeming with fish. Dozens of birds hunt them, swooping and diving in the water. Rich fishing ground. There's plenty of fish in this lake. Could stay here for a few days and catch them. That gives us 80 raw food every day for 9 days. Let's set up camp here and do just that. Now what else do we want to do? I think we're good currently. Now we do need more wood. As per usual. How many? 15 workers. Excellent. Let's prepare some sawmills. That is a good location. I also want to make sure that we get a sawmill in a location so that we can start getting the trees away from this place first instead of starting in the middle. We're going to require quite a bit of structural profiles, and also we need quite a bit of wood for research purposes, so... Protective structures have been researched. I don't know how much... we need 75 wood for that, so let's save up 75 wood so we can go into the next level. Foragers have reached the rock arch. This strangely symmetrical rock formation looks like something built with human hand, but it is of completely natural origin. Move on. We've discovered the closed tavern. Let's go there. It's hard to believe our eyes, but what we see looks like a typical roadside tavern. Here we go, 75. We need the optimized protection as quickly as possible, but optimized materials will also be quite useful. Let's do drafting machines. That allows us to research tier 2 technologies. We are out of wood, yes I know. Ah, this one is done. Let's tear it down. And let's build a sawmill. You know what? I'm not going to bother. I'm going to put the workers in there. These workers we can let out. We have 6 structural profiles. And we don't need them doing anything now, so let's put all 35. It is now on unhealthy, which is much better than deadly. Which is where it was. How long does this last? For 24 hours. We are about 3 days ahead of schedule. Perfect. Currently, I feel we have enough metal, so let's put workers in here instead. In pass a new law. In the labor laws, I want the extended shift. Could do the after hours equipment maintenance, but no, for now let's do extended shift. Let's extend here. And we can also... oh, crafting machines research level 2 is done. That one is definitely useful. Let's just see if there's anything else I would like. Yeah, I think I want the steam sawmill first and foremost, and then the upgraded docks. Since we currently need wood, let's put people in the sawmills, do extended shifts. It's not like the discontent is a major issue. I feel that the music is slightly low. Let's increase that to 8. Looks better. Might even increase it a bit further, but let's wait until we hear the next song starting up. Can we do... Yes, we can. Evening service increases the motivation so that we don't drop below the 30% modifier, because that 30% efficiency modifier is quite useful to us currently. Okay, so people are now in free time. Foragers have reached the closed tavern. The tavern looks deserted, and the signboard over the door says Pole Star, l'Étoile Polaire. The second name is in French. Really? There's some food rations here. Good old time. The tavern isn't abandoned after all. A rotund man is bustling about, hefting crates and trunks on a sledge. He introduces himself as the owner of this fine establishment. While the French were around, I had patrons all day long, workers curing hangover with a breakfast, engineers drinking buckets of coffee over their maps and blueprints, and in the evening all together working hard on the next hangover. All of them chatting in bloody French. Now it's over. Take whatever you need, I'm leaving for good. We discovered the 3 graves and we get 168. That's nice. Let's move on to the 3 graves. 3 dots stand out in the plains, stretching into the horizon. $430, 515, 180. So this one is going to be done first. That overtime work isn't really affecting the discontent all that much. We do need workers in here though. Let's nab some workers from here so we have them in the cookery tomorrow. I also think we need to go back to regular standard meals currently. We have 15 workers incoming. That's a blessing. They're arriving nearly on the hour. Transport has arrived with 15 workers. Let's just put 5 of them in there immediately. Now we have a logistical limit of 22, which means we can get 10 more workers. I think that is exactly what we need currently. We could use engineers. Yeah, okay, let's get 5 engineers first and foremost. The foragers have reached the 3 graves. The dots turn out to be graves. The headstones read Lob, Prolof, and Belon. Who were they? Or who they were? Why were they buried in such a remote place? We'll never know. We've discovered the storehouse and the railroad track. Let's go to the storehouse first. It looks like a huge storehouse of some sort. Now this is going to go down again today because this one is going to run out at some point. But even if I were to put workers into the profiles manufacture, that won't really do much good. We can put 10 workers in there. And the reason why it wouldn't do much good, of course, is because it has a cooldown of 2 days, so can't use it again anyways. Here we go. Toxic gases. Sir, we have a situation. We have detected dangerous concentration of toxic gases around the whole construction site. Breathing them will make people sick, but we'll keep them working. We have no choice. The gases are venting from the depths of the source, and their toxicity level changes constantly. We will monitor it and warn you about any changes 24 hours in advance. Workplace safety falls by 1 level. Yay! We need to build a ventilation shaft as quickly as possible, and I also need to pause the game because of the law thing. I don't know how the motivational building, if we can get one for the engineers work, but I'm going to reserve that spot for such a building, so we'll build the ventilation plant there. And I need to take workers out so that someone will construct it. And then we need to look at the laws. Extended shift compensations. That's not really a big issue. After hours equipment maintenance. I think we need to pass that one so that accident risk will be reduced at all workplaces. That'll make them even more unhappy. But we can deal with that. This one is done, but we need coal. So we need a gathering post or 2 up here. There we go. That seriously increased the discontent. Foragers have reached the storehouse. The store is filled with crates used to transport steam cores. Dozens of them. Enough to power an entire fleet of dreadnoughts. Most of the crates are empty. Steam cores, s'il vous plaît. The sign over the entrance says Ministre de la Marine et des Colonies, Entrepôt 4. It's not surprising that other nations also seek refuge in the north, but the scale of this operation is astonishing. An ancient storekeeper opens a big ledger at our site. The old man apparently took us for French engineers. Bonjour, messieurs. Voici vos noyaux de vapeur. Veuillez signer ici et ici. Ça devrait être suffisant pour réparer le crève-neige. He seems to offer us a shipment of steam cores, but what the heck is a crève-neige? Let's just nod and sign the papers. We took the steam cores, 2 of them, that we were offered by mistake. The old storekeeper waved us goodbye and left us with the precious loot. Let's move on to the railroad track. Okay, so we have workers again. Let's put them back into their respective buildings. Steam sawmill has been researched. The next we want then is upgraded docks. And steam sawmill requires a high amount of steel. This place is now dangerous, which is not ideal. Can take these workers out. Choo choo. Yes, while my French isn't perfect, neither in pronunciation or otherwise, I did actually take French in school, so I have at least a basic ability to understand and somewhat pronounce French. We need people in here gathering coal, and we need this to be on extended shift. Same with this one. I think we need to take 5 workers out of here and put them in there, because we need that ventilation plant up and running as quickly as possible. And this one also needs to be set to working hours. Foragers have reached the railroad track. The railroad track runs from one horizon to the other. It is enormous. The rails are almost knee-high and run on very wide sleepers. Straight stretch of gigantic railroad track. So we can either go to the trapper's cabin or we can go to the railroad station or train station. Let's go to the trapper's cabin first. We can see a cabin under a rock. Okay, so we're full on wood. That's good. Let's dump all our workers in there. Actually, let's dump 20 of those workers in here and make 6 structural profiles. Let's also put this into overtime. This is harmful currently, so still 281 left there, so can also put the research facilities, that is the workshops, into overtime. You can pass a new law. Let's go into the administration here. We still haven't had anyone die, so I don't think we need the company funerals just yet. Prosthesis shipments, though, that might be useful at some point. Crowded quarters or comfortable quarters. Let's do comfortable quarters. That means we need to build more tents. Let's pause the game. Because now I need to do some measurements here. Bathhouse. If we build a bathhouse there, we need to remove that road. One, two. That should be sufficient for covering a large area with bathhouses, or with bathhouse access. Then we have the chapel. The chapel is sufficient for this area at least. But this would not be covered. Which means that we need another chapel. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that looks like a good place for a chapel, but I don't think it won't cover that spot either way. I don't think it'll cover it that way either. But it's not worth having one chapel in excess just because of I don't like the bathhouses. They make my city look unstructured, which is almost akin to heresy. Okay, let's build a road going this, down there, and then out here. Then this one can go out there. And like that. And up there, and like so. Transport has arrived with 5 engineers, so then let's get workers in the next shipment. Put those engineers into the medical post and give them extra rations in both of them. Upgraded docks have been researched. I do want the mechanical calculators, but too early. Let's go with optimized materials. No, we cannot go with optimized materials. We are simply not getting enough steel. So there is literally nothing we can research at the time being, because everything requires steel. How is the upgraded docks? They cost 20 steel. Need to put this one in extended shift then. And we can take the engineers out of these buildings so they go construct stuff. Foragers have reached the trapper's cabin. The cabin is sturdy and shielded from the prevailing winds by the rock. A cozy refuge. A cast iron stove stands beside a desk and a sturdy chair. 2 books lie on the desk. On the origin of species by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life by Charles Darwin, M.A., and Voyage au centre de la Terre, a novel by Jules Verne. There's also a crate of canned food here. These are good books. We'll read them someday, but for now let's take the food. Let's jump onto the train station. Take it to all the engineers. Upgraded docks requires 20 steel. We have 15 engineers doing stuff now. Okay, let's upgrade these docks. How is this going on? Ah, it's deadly now. Yeah, here we go. Oh god, it's not the birds. Bad omen. This morning the camp is strangely quiet. People pass the bad news in hushed voices. An owl is perched atop the scaffolding, despite it being broad daylight. They were superstitious even in the best of times, but here in this remote harsh place they see it as a worst omen. Worse than a herd of black cats. The construction site workers refuse to return to work while the bloody bird sits there. They also say that to shoo it away would bring even worse luck. What shall we do? Shoo it away. Let's finish this. Turn this on. Which means that this one now is dangerous. Take out these workers, do this. And I think we need to put 10 of these workers in here. Boudoir photography. Letters from home. Sir, one of our people received a passionate letter from a lady friend together with a highly suggestive photograph. Are we to allow this shameless debauchery? Of course, leave the picture. Do we have enough to do mechanical calculators yet? No, we do not. We need to employ engineers though, and they are busy working on building stuff. Foragers have reached the train station. It is a small railway station which looks ridiculous beside the enormously wide tracks with huge rails that stretch north from here. What kind of gigantic train runs on them? No, really? We find an old French station master who tells us that all Crève-Neige departures are on hold until further notice. Asked what a Crève-Neige is, he laughs like we told him a good joke. Maybe we were misunderstood. French is not our strength after all, but if we feel like someone was messing with us, sites discovered the icy plateau and the Crève-Neige. It's not funny. What do you guys have? 2 steam cores and 250 food rations. Move on to the... or Le Crève-Neige, I suppose. Looking down the railroad track, we see a huge silhouette. Here we go. Work safety, workers trapped. Yeah, the safety level. Sir, an explosion in the generator's foundations caused a tunnel collapse, trapping several workers. Unfortunately, we cannot send a rescue team since we don't have one. Due to low priority given to the workplace safety in the shaft, the crews working there lack adequate training. Blow the cave-in, or blow up the cave-in. The trapped workers will live, but the construction progress will be set back by 40%. We are still 2 days ahead of schedule, so that's okay. Now we have... two gravely sick. They're being treated. We don't have any amputees currently. We can put the engineers back to work in the workshops. We have enough steel to research something, and I think we're going to go with the optimized materials. We pass a new law. No, we're fine here. Labor laws. We can sign the extended shift compensations, which means that they will be compensated with food, which should reduce discontent. They eat an additional half a ration per day. Ah, that's fine. Foragers have reached the Crève-Neige. An enormously huge locomotive lies on its side. It is a view both majestic and pathetic. What a waste. The engine is unbelievably huge, like a beached ship. It is overturned when the ground gave way under its massive weight and the tracks buckled. There is an inscription on its main boiler. Crève-neige de. Surely the French have a taste for dimensions. Pity that the land has let them down. Now, we can only salvage the resources from this magnificent machine. 2 steam cores and 5 of those metal plating. Now, let's send these people home. 5 steel composites, 4 steam cores, and 250 food rations. That'll help. Would you people finish this? I think we need to consider building another medical post. Discontent dropped, motivation dropped, transport has arrived with 10 workers. We need 10 more. First strike. Construction site strike. Sir, people at the construction site stopped work. A worker climbs an overturned wheelbarrow and shouts to his fellows. We saved our friends, sure, this time, but as long as the deadline is more important than us, such catastrophes will keep happening. Who's going to slave now to repair the damage, and how many of us won't make it home in one piece? We need to do something. So the shaft structure is on strike, but I think that this is a good spot to end the episode, so we'll see how we'll deal with that strike in the next episode. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all then.